Hey, everybody. Kerry Anne King here with you today, also known as Carrie Schaefer. And I have got an absolutely fantastic guest for us on Tell Me Your Secrets today. We have author Susan Mallery,
Hi.
hi, Susan. Thank you for being here. Susan has the distinction of being a #1 New York Times bestseller and having spent over 200 weeks on the USA Today bestseller list.
Thank you, readers. Thank you.
I saw that and I was like, whoa.
Yeah, no, that's a while.
That's very awesome and impressive. We have people who are checking in already. We have Tanya and Annie and Jennifer, Nicole, Brenda, Marcia, Mary. Wow, we've got all kinds of people here. Yeah, so that's fantastic because we have awesome stuff for you all today because Susan and I have been chatting a little bit backstage, and she's just super fun and has all kinds of cool stories for us today. So I have some questions. The very first thing, I looked at your bio, and the very first thing that caught my attention was accounting.
I know. It seemed sensible at the time. Yes, I have a degree in accounting. When I went to college, I was a smart, nerdy kid, and I really wanted to be a math major, but I was not good enough. I knew I'd work really hard and get C's, and I just couldn't. So accounting seemed like a good fit for me. And I, like many people, I went to community college. Then I transferred to a 4-year, and I was an accounting major. I have a degree, and it's just very funny because I got a job. I never took the job, but I was offered a job. But yeah, 18 months before graduation, I saw this class offered in an adult education center on how to write a romance novel. And I'd always been a big reader. And as I entered my teen years, I discovered romance and I just loved it. So I thought, this is really great. But I'm super busy. So I put it away. And 8 weeks later, because it was mail back then, real mail, physical mail, the brochure showed up and there was the class. It's like, I'm still really busy. And then the third time it showed up, I thought, this woman is not going to teach this class forever. So I signed up for the class. And because I was a good student, I started a book. And by the time class started, I had 50 pages. I was very smug and sanctimonious in my 50 pages. Go to the class, and somebody behind me we had to go around what we wrote, how much, and I said, I have 50 pages. And this person behind me, the viewer, says, well, I've completed an 800-page novel. And I whipped around and I thought, I hate you with every fiber of my being. Her name is Teresa Southwick. She publishes with Harlequin. We've been friends ever since. Roommates at conferences, the whole thing. And we became great friends and started a cheat group. So that was it. It was an 8-week class. By week 6, I thought, I'm really hooked and I don't know what to do because I'm moving forward with this pesky accounting thing, but this is my passion. I didn't know. And so I finished my degree because, it seemed like I should. And I went to, before you get before you become an accountant, well, they want you to get your CPA. So I took a CPA review course, which was paid for because I had really good grades. I won the scholarship. And I walked out the night of accounting theory and went home and told, I was married to someone else at the time, and said, I don't want to do this. I want to be a romance writer. He said, but we can afford meat if you get this job and you'll have benefits and we can have a vacation. And I'm like, so it was a very long negotiation. It was 3 or 4 weeks before we finally agreed I would have 2 years to try to make it as a romance writer. Then I had to call my recruiter, John, and tell him, thank you, but I don't want the job. And he was like so old. He was probably 40. So it was like calling my dad. Yeah, because I was what? I was a senior in college. He was like calling my dad, which I then had to do later. But I was so grateful that my then husband and I were paying for my own college. So I didn't have to deal with my parents on that. But I had to call John and say, you're a lovely man and thank you for the opportunity. And I knew he was going to say something that was going to hurt my feelings. I knew it was going to be mean. And so I said, I'm not taking the job. He's like, what are you going to do? And I told him. And there was just so much silence. And then he said, I write fantasy. and I've never had the courage to do anything with it. I will give you 2 years. And if you
Oh.
bomb out, I will give you a job. And I'm like,
Oh.
okay. Actually, what he said is, you won't forget enough to be useless. So you can come back in 2 years and call me. And I said, okay. And that was in May. And I sold my first book in August. And by the time the 2 years, and Annie, I'm just going to say it's because I was, in my 20s. He seemed old. Anyway, so he said, so that was it. By the time the 2 years were up, I'd sold 7 books. I was not making the same, but I was very, very close. And I never looked back. And
Wow.
that's I never worked as an accountant. The world should be grateful. I would have been terrible at it. And I just started writing. And that was, and I love it. I'm very lucky. I do what I love every single day.
Isn't it amazing? It took me a whole lot longer. I did a lot of other things personally that I didn't really like to do before I really believed I could do the writing and was able to quit my day job. And it's like every day I wake up and I'm like, how did I get to be so lucky? It is.
It's true. It is. And one of the big advantages for me was because I started writing while I was in college, I was programmed to learn. I took class, that's what I did. So I grew up in LA, and I was able to go to all kinds of workshops and classes. The Screenwriters Guild has classes for non-members. All the colleges, UCLA Extension is amazing. And I was able to take classes that were spectacular. A noted psychologist could not write, but he loved the idea of it. So he taught psychology for writers. Poets would teach setting classes. And I could go to a weekend seminar and I was just a sponge. I mean, today I would last to the first break. I would wander away. No one would ever see me again. I would just end up at the mall or come home or something. I can't possibly sit through that. But back then it was like, as I would scrape together the money and I would sign up and I just learned. I did tons of screenwriting classes. Never wanted to write a screenplay, but you come to your writing with innate skill. So I had certain skills. I could not plot at all. I didn't understand it. It made no sense to me. So I took a lot of screenwriting. And even today, all these books later, and at least 5 years later, I use a 3-act story structure. I use a screenwriting structure.
So since you brought up plotting, I'm going to do a nice little segue because I know you have some little visuals for us there, and I really would like to have those come out. So let's talk about your plotting process a little bit.
So I plot in advance. I'm a plotter. There's a spectrum. There are the pantsers and the plotters. And pantsers just sit down and start writing. And they just write what they write, and they rewrite a lot, and they don't want to know how the story is going to end, right? And then you just go. And eventually you find out, and then you have to go back and fix every tangent that's wrong. And that is what pantsers do. Plotters, and I usually make the joke, are superior human beings, but I won't. Plotters, I want to know. I want to know before I start writing that the book is going to end well and that I have enough story. I don't want to get to page 300 of a 600-page book and find out, oops, this isn't going to work out and have to start over. I write a lot of books a year. I do not have the luxury of rewriting a book 5 times. I just don't have the time, and I don't like it. I want to write and then I'm done. A lot of pantsers, it's the magic of finding the word, and every time they go back, they feel more connected. I just know. I want to write it and I want to move on because I got another book I want to write because it's right there going me next. So I'm a big plotter. I learned how to plot. It was painful, but now I know. And so when I write a book, especially a book like The Friendship List, which is complicated, 2 big stories, a lot of secondary characters, I plot each one. So Ellen has her storyline in this book, and Unity, the 2 friends in The Friendship List, has her storyline. So I plot them separately and then weave them together. So this 5x8 cards I'm showing you is a stack, for those of you on the podcast, I don't know, 2 to 3 inches of cards. I can tell you there are 65 scenes. Here, I'll cover this so you can't actually read it, but this is scene 65. So what I do is, so the E1 this is Ellen's first scene. I've already written a scene, So I get to know her, but this is the plotting. So E1, and then the next one, well, Ellen gets 2 in a row, E2, and then U1. And the reason I do this is I'll do all of Ellen, I figure her out, and then I will do all of Unity, figure her out. And so then I have 2 stacks and I number them because I've had the cat knock them over. Ellen 1 needs to come before Ellen 5, and I don't want to mess up. So this way I know Ellen's story flows in order. And then I just sit down and weave them. And then the number at the top just tells me where it is in the sequence. And as I go through, oh, and the line, for those of you seeing, just means I wrote that scene. I do that for like the first 2 scenes and then I lose interest. So then as I go, I write these notes telling myself, and this one's interesting. It says first, pickleball. Second, it actually says Ellen and it's big. Now, I don't know what this is referring to. It's very early in the book, so it's not what you're thinking, but it means something. And then this will say on the back, I write weird notes, and this says activity bus is white. And I happen to know that means in a school district, a yellow bus carries students. A white bus is an activity bus, like the baseball team, which if you read the book will make sense to you because they go on an activity. And we saw this one earlier. This one is very fun. It's Ellen scene 14. It's scene 23 in the book, not counting the first 4 that I already wrote. And it says the naked talk, page 197. And what that's telling me is I reference this naked talk. And when I need to go read it before I write about the talk, it's on page 197. That will just save me time. And then this one is conversation with D, page 235. So there was a conversation with Dagmar. It's on page 235. I will need to reference it. So when I write something and I know later I'm going to have to reference it, I'll go find the scene when I'm done working and say it's on this page. It just helps me. So when I go back, I don't have to waste a half hour looking for this stupid thing.
Oh my God. I do. I have to say, especially for those of you on the podcast who are listening later, looking at the size of this stack of cards, for someone like me who is kind of innately a pantser, who has learned some plotting, it just makes me want to go to bed.
Yeah.
Look at that stack. I want to go have a nap.
Yeah, or, take some Xanax. So this is the scene I decided not to write. There's a big X through it. And then this is my favorite. Change scene. It actually says cut this casino. There was supposed to be a casino scene. There's no casino scene now. They do not go to a casino. So this is actually the actual sweaty plotting from the friendship list. This is what I worked from every single day. I would, as soon as I have one of those little mail dividers like you get. Mine is wire. It's got little daisies. And so they are in order. And then as I write a scene, I stick it in the back. And the next day I grab a couple scenes and pray God I get through 2 scenes a day. I do Post-its. So if I need to know. So I just am always keeping myself up to date. And every day when I'm finished with my writing, assuming I've done my 2 scenes, or every few days, I will go read ahead the next 10 scenes and see, does it still make sense? Does it still flow? And that's why that's why things will change. Because it's like, oh, I can't put that there. Or, well, now like the casino thing didn't make sense for me. I got in their conversation somewhere else. We don't need to go to a casino. The places we go in the book are usually just, it's like the tortilla chip. No one eats tortilla chips for themselves. You eat them for the guacamole. So where we go is really the tortilla chip for the emotions that actually happen in the scene. So if the emotions have already happened, we can skip ahead and let's move on. Story needs to keep moving.
So somebody had asked, so you type those, they're typed, but then you have handwritten notes on top of that and sticky notes and.
Yes, it starts out very clean and then it all gets ugly from there. So this is actually, so you need to take a couple of deep breaths, sweetie, because you're about to be nauseous. So this is one scene. And for those of you on the podcast, it's single spaced. It's almost an entire page. I cut them down so they fit. And then I staple them on. And this one has to be folded because it's right. This is one scene. So a book the size of the friendship list is about 150 108,000 words. And in a ream of paper, like you put in a copier or your printer, that's 500 pages. So this book in manuscript form is close to 600 pages, which is about 110,000 words.
Wow.
My plotting, to give you a frame of reference, this, if you were to just put it in, well, it is in a document. I can tell you it's in a document. It's about 18,000 words. So my plotting is almost 20% of the book. So it's really, when you think about it, the world's tiniest first draft. It is everything. It tells me, and it will start Ellen's point of view. I start with whose point of view. I tell us where we are, everything that's going to happen. So my goal is to make every day my best writing day, because as you know, on your best day, you can really produce. And it's not just the speed. The speed is very nice. But what happens on your best writing day is, for all writers, I believe, on your best day, it flows. It's organic. The story is in you and bubbling out. And my goal is to make every day that day, because that's going to give me the best book. And that's going to make the book the most, it's where the book's really going to sing. Is if I'm struggling, at the end, you can't look at a chapter and say, this is a good writing day, this is a bad writing day, because I've learned how to fix that. But when it's truly flowing, I think is when the writing is the best. So my goal with my plotting is to facilitate the actual, I sit down and write. So this is what I've learned to do. I did not start out doing this. This has been an evolution. I have been writing for, 25 years. So I'm very clear on what it takes for me to put a book together. And my job is to make every book better than the last book. And that is getting harder and harder. I've written over 150 books. The challenge of it was easy in the beginning when I didn't know anything to do better and better work. It's harder now to do better work, but that doesn't take away my commitment to do better work. It just requires more effort.
Susan,
so
we should talk about the book a little bit. We got straight into plotting, and let's so the new book is called The Friendship List. Let's see that awesome cover.
It is a gorgeous cover, and we were joking about in the green room. I've had this cover for almost a year, but notice how they're socially distant.
Yes,
so it's so appropriate for the moment.
And the book
on the beach.
The book is called The Friendship List, and really, it's called The Friendship List, I assume, because we have two friends, and one of them is in a sad place, and the other trying to help her out, comes up with this idea that they should make lists of things they've never done to challenge themselves. And go ahead.
Well, it all starts, Ellen is a single mom, and she got pregnant at 16. So she's a very young, about to be empty nester. And her son is going to be a senior in high school, and she's very excited about him going to college. And this has been their dream. They're a team. It's the two of them. They're very close. He's a great kid. And she overhears him telling his best friend that he can't go away to college because he can't leave her. She doesn't have a life. And she is devastated by this because she loves her kid. Go live your best life. I'll be fine. And then she realizes he's right. She has no life. So she tells her best friend, Unity, I've got to fix this. Unity is the same age. They've been friends since pre-kindergarten. Unity is a young widow. She's been widowed for 3 years, and she is stuck. She is the stuckest of the stuck. But the interesting thing about Unity is she thinks she's fine.
Right.
So Unity brings up, she's the one who suggests the challenge, the summer challenge, the friendship list. And Unity is doing it because she loves her friend. She doesn't think there's anything wrong. She's going to go through the motions. She's faking it start to finish. So it is only, Unity is the little tiny snowball on the top of the mountain. It's like, I don't mean it. I don't feel it. I'm not going to do it. I'm just pretending because I love my friend Ellen. But she takes one step, and then she sort of takes a second step. So while Ellen runs into her change with an enthusiasm that I cannot tell you how much I admire, Unity is incredibly reluctant, but she starts to get momentum. and the momentum overtakes her, and suddenly, against her will, she finds herself changing, and she doesn't want to, because she believes if she changes, she will lose her late husband, Stuart. She has to stay exactly as she is to hold on to him in her heart. So that is, I love that one of them is like as fast as she can barrel into the future because she's motivated by the love of her son. And I love that Unity is only going through the motions for the love of her friend, and against her will is brought into healing. So it made me happy to write the book. It was really fun to write.
Well, it was, so now I have a question, because
Yes.
this is Tell Me Your Secrets. Do you have a list? Do you have a list of things you've never done that you want to do, that you kind of challenge yourself to do? Is that something that, written or unconscious, or, bucket list kind of stuff?
No, not really. I mean,
Really?
I want to say yes, but I'm just not that interesting. The thing that's fun about their list is it's not bucket list stuff. I mean, one of Unity's things is go from a flip phone to a smartphone.
Right.
So they are scary to them, but perhaps not scary to the rest of us. So there are things I'd like to do, but my idea of a great list is my, Saturday chore list, and then I get to cross them off. I want to make a list and cross them off that day. I don't enjoy a list that I can't cross things off of. So,
well, that's the whole point in having a list, is that you can cross things off.
Yes, but today.
Right. Like, for example, even adding some things on the list that
I do that sometimes.
So have you ever done that?
Oh, it's so pathetic. Yes, I do that. It's like, but I folded laundry. So the fact that it says wash the towels, I should say fold the towels, because now I have two things I've crossed off my list. Yeah, I know. Right. It's
right.
bad.
And put reading on the list, because, that one's definitely going to happen. And yeah, I like that feeling too, of crossing the things off the list.
Satisfying.
That's always great fun. Let's talk a little bit about, too, you were telling me about some of the research that you did. And
yeah, this was fun. So the guy Unity finds herself running from, Thaddeus, is very wealthy. So I went online, and I'm not visual. So I could never design a cover, and it's hard for me to think of rooms, places like a normal house I can describe. Judy just wrote, I know Susan Mallery wants to go camping. Yeah, that would be me. Yeah. My idea of camping is, what do you mean they don't have room service? Anyway, so I go online. So Thaddeus lives in this very exclusive condo, and I'd actually been there. I went to a fundraiser. I had one of the cheap tickets, so I got to go in for cocktails and leave. I did not get to stay for the dinner, but I did get to see, it's like a $25 million place. It's this 2-story. It was a baseball player. I will not say his name. Anyway, it was fabulous, and I saw a cat. But I got to see the living room. I got a glass of champagne, and then I got to leave. But still, it was thrilling. So that was kind of the inspiration, but I was so in awe of my surroundings. I couldn't remember anything, so I looked up. So this is the kitchen. This is Thaddeus's kitchen. And I apologize for those of you on the podcast. And let's all look. $5 million. It's like, wow, isn't that great? So I love this kitchen. So this is the kitchen I describe. And then now this one we were discussing is a bargain, because it's only $4.75 million. But this is his dining room, because I loved it. So I do that kind of stuff. And then, here's the living room. Now this is Pinterest. So I went with this for the living room. And again, I'm sorry, podcast people. It's good.
So Susan, you go to Pinterest to find examples of the places for your, because I always struggle with that. All of my houses want to look the same.
I do. And then, this one's good too. I don't think I used it, but isn't this pretty? I mean, it wouldn't work for me because of the cat hair, but yeah, I love Pinterest, and I do a lot of decorating in my books, not in my life. I love all that. And then I do a lot of food in my books, because I just think that's really luscious. And I do a lot of wine, because that's research I can get behind. So I go down the rabbit hole of Pinterest at least twice a week, because that stuff, the food, the decoration, that's all stuff I'll do that day. The big research, if there's going to be something, I do ahead of time, because research informs plot. But the little day-to-day stuff, like what does his condo look like? That's sort of a reward, oh, I'm going to describe this condo. So when I'm done with my pages today, I will go look up stuff for tomorrow and then just put links so that I'm ready. So the next morning I'll just look at the links. Okay, this is what the room, then go describe it and then move on with the story. So yeah, but it's fun. I want that kitchen. I will never have it, but I will want it always in my heart.
Well, now that I've seen it, I want it too. It looks about as big as my whole house, honestly.
Yeah, us too. Yeah, no, it's gorgeous. And yeah, and it's got the pull-out drawers. I've always wanted those, the big drawers under the counter instead of cabinets. And then you can go on to like House and get the little Peggy things. I saw that once in an open house because I love open houses because I get a lot of housing. I get a lot of decorating ideas around here. I'm in the Seattle area and everybody uses stagers and they're so talented. So, well, not currently, but we would go on
normally
open houses just so I could like go look and then in the kitchens, it's like, oh my God, look at that spice rack. Yeah. So I have a small life. It makes me happy.
It's not a small life at all. That's brilliant. I've thought about doing that. I live in a very small town, so it's a little bit trickier.
Yeah, you probably know them then. It's like, I've been to buddy's house, not going in there. Yeah.
Can I come look in your house? So let's talk a little bit about, I know you can't do your live touring. We talked about that also, but are you doing any more of the virtual tours? And if so, is there a place where people can go to figure out where they can find you to,
I believe my last one is tomorrow, and I don't know how they sign up, but I'm going to say because I know the amazingly talented Janelle, my assistant, is watching. She will put something on Facebook. So if you go to...
And actually, if she's watching, if she just puts it in the comment, I'll flash it up here on the screen.
Okay.
So that
Janelle can do that. So that is my last one, I believe. The other thing we're going to do, which I've never done before, and this is kind of because of COVID, we're going to be, and I mean, Janelle Technology and me there, we're going to do online book club. The website, thefriendshipList.com. Yeah, we try to get our, okay, so I'm just going to, because this is my real life, this is really me, I'm going to go on a tangent. I will do my best to come back. Just randomly, when this is over, take a second and go to Sven, S-V-E-N, thevikinggod.com. It's my website. It's perfectly safe. It's from Secrets of the Tulip Sisters. We commissioned an artist. It will make you laugh and laugh and laugh. So I'm just saying, I don't know why, totally random. Just go look and you will laugh. I promise. It's very funny. It's charming.
Okay, so, lovely, Janelle. Can you post the link for that too?
It just you would. So what we're going to do in September, we're going to do 3 book clubs. You just sign up to attend. Yeah. Oh, there's dashes. I did not. Thank you, Janelle. And that's Siddiqui for little dog. I love him. So there's going to be like an early evening, an afternoon, a weekend day. So you just sign up for a book club. We're going to talk about the book. Probably want to have read the book because there will 100% be spoilers. But I'm going to do a book club. I can't go anywhere. I miss you guys. Nobody's giving me hugs. It's very, very sad. And so I think we're going to do 3 of them. So that'll be posted on Facebook. And I'm pretty sure we'll put it in the newsletter as well. So follow me on Facebook. You probably all get it you probably all get the newsletter already, but it will be, if it wasn't going to be in there, it'll be in there now because I've committed to it. So we're going to do book club and I've never done it before. It should be interesting. I hope no one hurts my feelings because I'm very soft-hearted. There we go. They start next week. They'll meet online in September and join my mailing list to get the invitation to sign up. Yay. I don't know why I read that to you. I was compelled. So that's going to be really fun. I've never done a book club. I've called into book club. Book clubs have had me visit. I've done library book clubs. I've done private book clubs. I like them at night better because there's probably wine and that's more fun. They have me for 10 minutes and then they just talk to each other. It's super easy. In the morning, I have to participate the entire hour because they are stone cold sober. But I still do those too. But this is the first one that we're just going to do. And I don't know how many people it's going to be, but we'll have 3.
Well, that sounds really super fun. So again, the book that we've been talking about is a standalone. There were a few people who are not as familiar who were asking. So this is a standalone by Susan Mallery. I love how your name's all big and shiny and silver.
Isn't it beautiful? Well, they know I like shiny things. So they usually make my name shiny because then they know I'll be happy.
The book is called The Friendship List, and it's really a fun and moving and uplifting, inspiring read also. So, we move through grief, we move through children leaving home, finding a life after, being completely devoted to others. There's all kinds of good stuff in this.
Well, and there's Coach Keith and Thaddeus.
Oh, there are, yes. And then we've got the guys.
The guys are good. Now guys are good. It's interesting. It's fun. So everybody likes Keith, and I love Keith too. He was really fun. What I love about Thaddeus is he's very wealthy. He's very successful. He's very good looking. And he's never really been willing. Well, he's sort of been willing to commit to it. He did have a girlfriend early, so he's not a player. But in the last 10 years, he's not really been serious about anybody. And I'm sure he's broken a lot of hearts. He is now ready to settle down. He's looking for a good woman to fall in love with, marry, and have kids with, and take care of her for the rest of her life. And he can't find one. And I love that. I love that Fate, there's a line in the book that Fate was a mean bitch with a sense of humor, because he can't find her. And then he finally finds Unity, who's like, yeah, no, I'm in love with this dead guy. Sorry, bye. So it's so fabulous. That was really fun for me. And then Coach Keith is just also a single parent who is desperate to keep his daughter from getting pregnant. That is his goal in life every day. And she's like, don't you want me to be my best self? He's like, yeah, don't get pregnant.
Well, it was great. Thank you, Susan. It was delightful to meet you. And someone's asking. This keeps coming up too. So I wasn't going to I didn't mean to flash this question, but what is pickleball for those of us who do not know?
Well, and it's funny. This came from Janelle. Janelle said you should have Unity play pickleball, and it's like, are we? So if you go look it up, it's a different kind of ball, and I think it's played. It's been a while since I finished the book, so my research is gone to make room for other research. I believe it's on a tennis court or a half court, and it's more like a wiffle ball. And there's pickleball courts and pickleball clubs, very big in the retirement communities. And it's a thing. Look it up. It's outdoors, so I am unlikely to participate. I don't believe in the outdoors. So no, but I'm sure those of you who enjoy sport would like it. But yes, that's what I've heard it is. I've never seen it. I've seen videos, and I started to do a video on the rules, but after 3 minutes, it's like, okay, yeah, no, that's not happening.
That's enough. Yeah. Well, yeah. And one of the fun things that we actually did not mention, and this was one of my favorite things about Unity, her way of kind of hiding from life is to hang out in the retirement community because it's safe there.
It is. Well, and she feels welcome. And it's funny that characteristic was also inspired by my lovely assistant, Janelle, because Janelle has always joked that she's just waiting to be retired, and she's ready, to be a golden girl. And when I first met Janelle, she was in her 30s and telling me this. So it was like, okay. So most of us are not trying to get there. And so that always stuck in my head as one of the sweet quirks about her. So with Unity, she's doing it for different reasons. It is a way to hide. But yes, she absolutely is ready to. It's an age-restricted community, and she's counting the days till she can be 55 plus. She's got 20 years to go.
Right.
And move in.
And it was great. So again, the book is called The Friendship List, and it is available in stores now with things that we've covered. Yes, it's an awesome social distancing cover to make us all happy. Check out Susan's website. It's susanmallery.com. For those of you on podcast, her name is spelled Susan, Susan, Mallery, Mallery.com. So if you go there, you'll be able to find information about the book club, I believe, as well, correct?
Yes.
Yes. And so you're going to want to sign up for that, and make sure you find her on Facebook. Go find the book. And that's it for us today. Thank you so much again, Susan. It was lovely to make your acquaintance and get to meet you.
Thank you. You were fabulous. Thank you.
Thank you. Take care. Be safe out there. Wear a mask if you go outside. Read good books, and check in, like this page. I'll have another fabulous author. Actually, I think I have 2 next week for you. So come on back and check out and see what's going on. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.